will be presenting, which was signed off by all relevant stakeholders, is the authentic document. He conceded that he roped in Vusimuzi Matlala's private VIP protection company to assist the city of Ekurhuleni, that was in 2022, ahead of the State of the City address.
I, Julius Dr. Mkhwanazi,
Yes.
Deputy Chief of Operation and Specialized Services,
Yes.
say in this commission and in members of public of this country, Deputy Chief of Police, Ray Hospice, presented a forged plan that he forged and presented to this commission. I'm going to present the real operational plan.
Let's take you to the courts now, where murder-accused Tiffany Nicole Meek will spend Christmas and New Year in custody after her pre-trial hearing at the Johannesburg High Court was postponed today. The matter will return to court in January to allow Meek's new lawyers time to be furnished with the case docket. Meek, who has been in custody since July this year, is facing 5 charges, including newly added counts of child abuse and neglect linked to the death of her 11-year-old son, Jaden Lee Meek. Jaden Lee was reported missing in May after failing to return home from school. His lifeless body was found the following day on a staircase inside the Vleerhof complex near his home. Thanduluhle Ngcobo has the details.
31-year-old Tiffany Meek appeared briefly at the Johannesburg High Court, her face downcast with brief nervous glances around the courtroom. The court heard that Meek was abandoning her legal aid representative in favor of a new lawyer acquired by her family. Attorney C. Van Doe, who was standing in for Meek's newly appointed representative who could not attend today's proceedings, requested a postponement to allow time to be furnished with the docket and to facilitate the transfer of the matter to the High Court sitting in Palmridge. The state told the court it was not opposed to the postponement to allow for a fair pre-trial process. Meek remains behind bars. Thanduluhle Ngcobo, Eyewitness News at the Johannesburg High Court.
The Department of International Relations says it considers South Africa's non-invitation to the first meeting of the group of 20 Sherpas since handing over the presidency to the United States as a breach of protocol. Director General Zane Dango has confirmed to Parliament today that South Africa was excluded from Sunday's meeting, which would start to map out the next year of the G20's work. Dango says South Africa learned of the meeting from other member states who say they expressed their disapproval at South Africa being snubbed. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
Following last month's G20 Leaders Summit, United States President Donald Trump decreed on social media that South Africa would not be included in next year's G20 meetings after refusing to hand over the presidency to a diplomat in his absence. But International Relations Director General Zane Dango says the US does not have the prerogative to exclude South Africa as a G20 member.
This is a breach of G20 protocol. Guest countries get invited, and South Africa is a member of the G20, and our participation shouldn't be dependent on whether the presidency seeks to invite a member or not.
Answering questions from Parliament's Portfolio Committee today, Dango could not immediately say how the department will address the matter. But he says other Sherpas had informed South Africa that the issue did come up for discussion at the meeting. US Sherpas reportedly said they were carrying out the instruction of their president by not inviting South African Sherpas to attend. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And further afield, the death toll following Hong Kong's deadliest fire has now risen to 159. Last week, the fire consumed a residential estate in the Tai Po district. Police say the death toll comes as an interim wrap-up following the completion of building searches. The dead include at least 91 women and 49 men, with the youngest victim being a 1-year-old child and the oldest a 97-year-old. Gold is trading at $4,202.87 an ounce. The rand is at 17.09 to the dollar, 22.71 to the pound, 19.94 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $62.51 a barrel.
Calvin Alex area roadworks still slowing down traffic. This is on the N3 in both directions between the Butlu interchange and London Road. While if you're heading towards the Joburg CBD, expect about a 20-minute delay. That's in the Amalgam area on Main Reef Road between Anderson and Nazareth. There's also slow-moving traffic in the Fourways area on Winnie Mandela Drive between Uranium and the N1.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng with scattered showers and thundershowers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 24 and 27 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. 2 men believed to be escorting alleged criminal kingpin Katiso KT Molefe have been arrested at the Alexandra Magistrates Court today.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Ever tried to pick insurance and just zoned out? Too much jargon, too many options, too many open tabs. Enter Vouch. Vouch connects you with real, independent advisors who help you compare quotes from SA's top insurers, who explain things clearly and who guide you through it all. No spam, no pressure, just honest advice and cover that fits your life. Vouch. Someone on the inside, on your side. Vouch SA is an authorized financial services provider. T's and C's apply.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja
Live, streaming countrywide
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Minutes after 1 o'clock. Welcome to 7:02 Afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja. So looking forward to getting into conversations with you on this Wednesday, the 3rd of December. And it happens to be my baby brother's birthday. Oh my king, happy birthday. We continue to love you forever and ever. All right, coming up on the show, we are going to be talking about that role that you play where you feel like people are using you as a therapist. Right? But maybe it's overwhelming or you feel like you need to do something about it. Family members and friends as well. And I'm curious if you're getting any support back from these people. But you becoming somebody's therapist, an emotional sponge, I want to hear from all of you. Our finance feature, we're talking about why a strong economy doesn't equal better quality of life. And one would think that should be the case. Patrick Buthelezi from Sanlam Investments, who is an economist there, will be joining us. And then we wrap up in our masterclass today talking about resuscitology, as in resuscitation. We'll be joined by Kathy Bodmer, who is from BLS National Faculty Resuscitation Council of Southern Africa. And I think this is a very critical conversation because we know things like CPR are things that everybody, at least somebody, one person in the home needs to have that skill, and many lives could be saved because of that life skill. Get in touch with us, 011 883 0702, SMS us 31702, tweet at Relebogile M, at Radio 702, using the hashtag 702 Afternoons, and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Mabotja
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Are you the family therapist for everybody? Are you the person who people come and dump everything onto? Are you that person? Now, a young woman had shared a story. Her name is Sarah Back, with BAK, on TikTok, and she was sharing the story about a friend of hers who used her for unloading and offloading all of her personal problems. She essentially used her as a therapist, and this led to their friendship unraveling because at one point, the person telling the story was saying, it was becoming overwhelming, and she noticed that this friend never asked her about her life. This friend was never taking on any load about what's happening with her. And she does preface by saying that this friend of hers has lived a hard life. Hard life. from childhood abuse, like all of the different kinds of challenges you can imagine. And then on top of that, this friend didn't really have anybody in their lives that they could confide in. Hence, she became the support system, but it eventually became too much for her, where she started trying to put boundaries up, and the friendship ended up coming to an end because she couldn't anymore. There's a term, I don't know if you've heard of it, where people speak about trauma dumping. So trauma dumping is basically when, and within the context of, it's not like you were sitting down with your therapist and now talking about all your traumas. It's like a person who maybe is not prepared for you to dump a whole lot of your trauma by sharing it with them. So it's not necessarily the appropriate circumstances or it led up to that. But trauma dumping is also maybe not even thinking about the fact that, does this person have capacity right now to hear about my problems? Do they have the capacity to carry everything I need to share? And then that becomes the central focus of that conversation, that moment, that everything. But if you are the family therapist, I know of family therapists in my family, and I have said to them, stop trying to save everybody when you have not saved yourself. I also know, because I have been that person to some people, how I had to put boundaries in place. And sometimes boundaries is just observing. Let me see if they're going to reach out. And if they reach out, let me see if they're going to ask about me and my problems. I'm very, very fortunate that I have people around me I can share with. Beyond having a therapist, I have people I can dump on. And we ask one another, like, do you have space? Are you in okay space for me to just, whatever it is, offload all of my problems? Because it can be heavy and burdensome. And I am the same to them. But I know sometimes it is not mutual and sometimes it is not fair. So I want to hear from all of you if you have ever felt like you are everybody's therapist or somebody's therapist or a loved one's therapist. Has it become burdensome that you don't know what to do about it because you also are feeling empathetic towards this person and what it is that they are going through? And it doesn't just have to be the therapist part. Maybe they're constantly looking to you to find solutions to their problems. Sometimes problems start as money problems, where after you've given 200 here, 300 there, now you're trying to help them find a job. Now you're trying, like, it becomes an all-consuming exercise where you are this person's fixer. Not just the one who's listening to all their problems and carrying their load, but to the point that it makes you feel like, hey, guys, this is a bit much for me. I want to hear from all of you. 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
So Julius Mkhonazi has been testifying at the Madlanga Commission, and he's all over the place. He really is. Some of the things he's saying are not making sense. He touches on things and then he leaves them. It's not making sense to me either. How does Ket Matlala say, I'm going to donate these vehicles to you guys? Jay, you just donate cars to a metro. You don't expect anything in return. Oh, when they have the state of the city address and they're concerned about security that may be breached, you offer your services again. In fact, he didn't offer them because Julius Mkhonazi says, I went and met Ket Ngamla, as they used to call each other. And Ket Matlala didn't ask for anything in return. And you said, oh, I actually want this for advertising. Yet your vehicles are not even branded. It's just not making sense.
Clement Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
You want to build a quality home, the eye-catching jewel of the town, but your personality type is bargain hunter. It's only been 2 months and your quality home is the neighborhood nightmare. So abantu bazotini about the peeling paint that you call abstract art, the cracked walls that look like frown lines. Skip the embarrassment and the hunting. Make smarter decisions for your home. Visit Cash Build online to order quality cement, paint and more at the lowest prices. Cash Build.
At Rhythm House, just the other day, mid-science lesson, bold as daylight, a frog hopped across the lab like it had a syllabus to check. Most schools would have screamed, we got curious, and that grew into an entire sustainability project and a few unexpected scientists.
The opportunities are endless, and they are all in the experience at Redham House. Search Redham House Schools online and see for yourself. An inspired school.
When it comes to protecting your workforce, trust the workwear brand that has been protecting workers for over 150 years, Sweetall. Sweetall has overalls and uniform solutions for every industry, so your team is safe, comfortable, and ready to tackle any challenge. Visit our new Boksburg showroom, shop A1 Atlas Road, Westwood, Boksburg, or go to sweetall.com today. Sweetall, we never let you down. Superior protective workwear since 1871.
This festive, turn your family meetings into family eatings with the Nando's Festive Fill-Up Meal. A full flame grilled chicken, 2 sharing sides, 4 cheesy rissoles, 2 Cabo Societies, 2 Nando's rolls, and a 1.5-liter Coca-Cola for only $3.99 to enjoy at your place. And if your family meeting is at our place, get 40 Rand off. Nando's. Oh, what a place.
Standard Bank and 702 have joined forces to bring you China Unlocked.
One of the most recent examples of this is the signing of 2 very important MOUs whilst we were at the Chinese International Import Expo, which in itself is quite an exciting event to help expose South African and African products to China. We signed an MOU and with the Chinese Chamber of Commerce for import and export of machinery and electronic products. What that helps us with is it helps our clients connect directly to equipment manufacturers and manufacturers of electronic products in China. It cuts out the middleman, and what better way to do that to help our clients get direct access to the equipment and technology that they need to do that.
Don't miss China Unlocked on 702 Drive with John Perlman. Tuesdays on 702. Brought to you by Standard Bank Business and Commercial, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Mabotja.
19 minutes after 1 o'clock, and we're talking about being everybody's go-to person therapist, or even if it's one specific person. After Sarah Back on TikTok shared the story of how her friendship basically came to an end after she realized that, she is becoming this person's therapist. She's being used as a therapist, and all of this person's issues, which she said, validly so, she's going through a lot and has had a hard life, but it became too much for her. And she ended up sitting down and telling her the truth and had to end that friendship because she would start to get frustrated when the phone is ringing and realize that the conversation is never about her. 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 and 702. And do feel free to be anonymous if you would like to do so. Daniel from the Val. Hi, Daniel.
Hi, man. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. And you?
I'm okay. When it comes to talking to someone about the problems is one thing, because actually being that person, there was times where things were not going on for me. And there was this friend of mine whom I would talk to each and every time, telling him what is happening with me. And, there are people who listen to you outside, even though, sometimes they will get irritated by all those things. But there are people outside there who will guide you, who will tell you what to do. And actually today, as we speak, I'm okay because that friend of mine never judged me. And I was a child, and certain things were not easy for me to handle, or I couldn't even navigate around them. But to be honest with you, being raised and being abused and having to go to someone and even sometimes even having to go and ask for food next door. And it was something that was actually very, very difficult. But I think dumping is a big weight, but there are those people that you can say that they will listen to you and they will actually play a better role, that they will actually try to find some assistance for you. Although sometimes they also may not have some resolutions to your problems and all kinds of things. But I really feel like we need a lot of people that will listen to you and be able to guide you even at your lowest. And that is the most that I've been through and myself. And for the longest time, I can just reveal that I even went to school at the age of 15 doing grade 1. So imagine that life, and it was not easy. It was not easy, and at some point it's even difficult to forget where I come from, and I still even hold grudges against people whom they were my family and they couldn't do anything with my situation at the time.
Daniel, can I ask, what are your relationships with all of those people like now, the ones that were there for you?
The relationship is good. Actually, those people who were there for me, assisting me, and I will never leave them. I would never forget what they did for me, because there was times where I had no shoes. There was times where one of the family friends had to take her own skate to make a trouser for me so that I can be able to go to school. And I had to walk from where we were staying to school for about, I don't know, it's like 3 to 4 hours. And if you live in the rural areas where everything is channeled around cattle and all those kind of things, I nearly ended up not having to go to school or anything like that. At some point, I actually, even in my mind, I had that thing that I would never be able to speak English or anything like that. But through God and everything, and those people who were there for me and were able to listen to me, and they were able to see what is happening to me, they assisted me. And today, as we speak, I'm a better person. I'm a better father. I have a family, and I'm trying to show my kids that it's not the end. Even if you go through a lot in your life, or maybe things are not adding up for you, you don't have to give up. You always have to give yourself a chance, and you always have to pray. And there's someone who's going to listen to you, and there's someone who's going to always show you that whatever you're going through is not the end of the world. You just need to stand up and dust yourself and go out.
And thank you, Daniel, for sharing that story. And let me say this to you. You are a child when you needed help. That is not considered dumping in the context of our conversation. Do you understand? As a child, you didn't ask to be born. The adults around you were the ones that were responsible for you. But thank you so much for sharing your story and recognizing that you were the one in need. I mean, I want to be clear. Children, which means 0 to 18, and in some cases even older than that, are the adult's responsibility. They are. It is your job to be their therapist, their doctor, their driver, their chef, anything they need. It is your job to do that. It is your choice to have had them, so you must do that. When in the case of children. Teboho in Soweto, hi.
Hi, Relebogile.
How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Good. Go ahead.
Yeah, I say I was that kind of a person where I don't know, I'm too soft. When someone comes with the problems, I would help them out. But then this I decided to stop because I helped so many people. Whenever I was in need, there was no one there for me. So it's very painful.
So was it one specific person who kept coming to you, or lots of different people?
Lots of different people. So I would help out there, but then at some point I won't be having it, because sometimes I would give someone my money for transport for the last week of the month, because I know they're gonna pay me. But then they end up not paying. Then I would have no one to go to.
So what was the final straw for you? What was the final thing that happened that made you say, I'm done?
Actually, I was hijacked earlier this year. So I went through that trauma alone, because the same people that I was there for, none of them, not even one, came to visit me. So I went through that. Then after that, I have to do self-evaluation. That no, I had to stop giving all I have, because I even tell them that now my cup is empty. No, there's nobody pouring back onto my cup, so I cannot be able to help anymore.
And what did they say when you told them this, that like, I'm done? Or did you even say, or you just stopped speaking to them?
No, actually, I did. Then one lady said, "No, I must just she's a friend. I must give her a chance." But then she started again with her behavior. So these days, I just ignore the messages and.
Yo, Teboho, I'm sorry, man. It can't be nice realizing, Jorge, when you're the one in trouble, you don't have somebody to go to. But I really hope, Jorge, that experience now brings into your life people who are going to reciprocate and be loyal and be supportive to you as well.
Yes, I've got a quote that I always say: people don't love me for what I can do; they love me for what I can do for them.
Yes, and
So
they have to love you for who you are.
That's correct.
Yeah. Deboho in Soweto, thank you so much for sharing your story. Zoe in Alberton, hi.
Hi, Relebogile, how are you?
Good, thanks, and you?
I'm good, thank you. Oh, okay. I was saying, I was having this conversation with my daughter the other day. She's 13 years old. She's attending therapy. She was telling me that, it's cool. People will always confide in her. But she always follows through. She would always just check up on the people and see how they're doing. But no one has ever done the same for her. This was during a very difficult time of her life, and she knows that people have noticed that she was not being herself, but people kept on coming and telling her stuff of their own. But I related the story to her as like, you know what, I used to actually have a friend like that as well, that would only call me when she needed, to confide and vent and stuff like that. But whenever I needed her, and she was never there, I would send her messages, she would blue tick, I would call her, she would not answer, and only respond when she wanted to vent again. She'd be like, oh, you know what, I've been meaning to come back to you, but it will end there, and then she'll start telling me her stories. So I actually made a very conscious decision to say, you know what, I'm not happy with this friendship. It's just one-sided. So, yeah.
Sure. And how did you tell the person, or did you just cut them off?
I just cut them off.
Yo. So what was your daughter's response when you shared that with her?
Oh, so she was like, what must you do? You know what, I told her that I took it upon myself for me to invest in her own mental health, and maybe she should sometimes advise her friends that they should try therapy. Yeah, because like really, it's not fair. It's not fair. She has issues that she's also battling with of her own. So for people now to only come, but whenever they can see, because sometimes I know that she was not well, she would not be going to school for a couple of days, but no one will come and ask what's wrong, what have you been up to. Nothing
Are you
like that.
okay? Are you okay?
Exactly.
Sure. Yeah, Zoe, it's a difficult one, and it's so tricky with children at the different stages of life that they are in, where they're trying their best to fit in and be a part of, So I can only imagine what a challenging time it is. But I think the advice you gave her is super sound. And I appreciate you calling in and sharing your own personal story as well, Zoe in Alberton. Thank you so much. Let us know, because it can be heavy, and it's such a fine line, because on WhatsApp I see Fiso is saying, understandably so, but how will you feel if someone has committed suicide and you could have prevented it? I will actually share a story to respond to that comment that you have shared. And at the end of the day, if your cup is empty, you cannot fill other people's cups out of fear that they might take their own lives. I know it's serious, but you need to take care of self. You really, really do. It's 1:30. Time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon. What is happening at the moment?
Thanks, Relebogile. Good afternoon. Well, two men believed to be escorting alleged criminal kingpin Katiso Katie Molefe have been arrested. It's understood the men were found to be carrying firearms without valid permits today. Molefe returned to the Alexandra Magistrates Court this morning, facing charges including murder. Those charges are linked to the alleged murders of Vereniging engineer Armand Swart, musicians Opasifoka and Hector Buthelezi, popularly known as DJ Sambodi, as well as DJ Vintos. The EFF has laid a complaint of perjury with the Public Protector and the police against Higher Education Minister Buti Manamela. The party says Manamela gave conflicting submissions in court papers as well as in Parliament about whether he held meetings with the National Skills Authority before placing 3 sector education and training authorities under administration, while the Trump administration has halted immigration applications from nationals from 19 countries. Authorities paused green card and citizenship processing for people from countries including Afghanistan, Yemen and Haiti, already subject to travel restrictions announced by President Donald Trump. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 2 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this stage, if you are heading in and out of the Joburg CBD, you can still expect heavy delays. This is in the Amalgam area on Main Reef Road between Anderson and Nazareth Road. While in the Calvin Alex area, we still have those roadworks slowing down traffic. N3 in both directions between London Road and the Baclue interchange in 4 ways. Bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is on Winnie Mandela Drive between Uranium and the N1. Also, traffic lights still not working in the Edenville area, Modderfontein Road and Van Riebeck, as well as in the Polshof area at Witkoppen and Main. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
The Americans have hit the delete button. All traces of South Africa have disappeared from that G20 website as if we have not hosted.
None of this surprises me, and I think in advance of the summit, the remarks by Minister Lamola about white supremacy, then the handover issue. Now, my own view is that the U.S. would have done the website thing and the G20 reset anyway, but I think things like Lamola's remarks and the handover issue made the booting out of South Africa inevitable.
Dr. Terence McNamee.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Kick off to glory with Hollywood Bids and Aziz Shege. Be in the game. Go full speed ahead with the epic competition. You stand to win a share of 4 million rand in cash and prizes, including an all-new Toyota Corolla Cross. Bet 10 rand or more on any soccer fixture or fixtures online or at your nearest branch. Live life in the fast lane. Bet now for your chance to score.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp HELP to 076 675 0710.
At Isuzu, we know every delivery, every kilometer, and every load is building something bigger. This truck month, set your business up for success with special deals across the Isuzu N and F-Series ranges. Don't get left behind. Speak to your Isuzu truck specialist or call 08600 Isuzu and secure your truck month deal today. Isuzu, with you for the long run. T's and C's apply.
You can become a victim of a legal problem. Wrongful arrest, assault, uncontested divorce, rental disputes, maintenance matters, or labor problems. It can happen to you. Clientele Legal provides tough professional lawyers for an affordable monthly premium. Our legal team is standing by to assist you 24 hours a day. Join today. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Your voice.
Your life.
Your afternoon radio.
On 702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Mabotja.
25 minutes to 2 o'clock, and we're having a conversation around being a person, friend, family member, or maybe everybody's therapist, to the point that maybe it makes you wonder if they are using you as just a dumping site for all of their problems. Maybe sometimes they're also expecting you to come up with their solutions and fix their issues. After a woman shared, Sarah back on TikTok was sharing how she realized that she's being used as a therapist and she's this emotional sponge. And every time the conversation was happening, it ended up being about this friend's problem. And she does admit, look, the friend has had a really hard life, but it was never about anything else but her problems. Not even her own issues could be brought up, or even just to take their mind off things, man. Go and have fun. 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. We have some voice notes that are coming through, but before I go to them, I want to respond to Sfiso, who is saying, understandably, with regards to being a person's therapist and it being heavy, but how will you feel if someone has committed suicide and you know you could have prevented it. So let me respond by saying, you don't know that you could have prevented it. You don't. I worked with a lady many, many years ago who would regularly be coming to work exhausted. Her partner that she had been with for, I think, about a decade was struggling with a lot of mental health challenges. And every time she tried to assist and help, things would not get solved. You know, be it therapy, be it whatever. It was this constant cycle. And then when she's like, I can't, I'm too tired, I can't deal with this anymore, the way that the person was behaving because of all of their challenges, the way she was being treated, the person would threaten to take their own lives if she leaves. So this cycle continued for years. And we were able to see at work, because at the time we were working in a soapy environment, so you're pretty much seeing each other every day. And we would be able to see that this person is struggling. They are underslept, they are exhausted because of the many challenges happening at home. Fast forward where she eventually decides to choose herself. After she leaves that person, she packs up and she moves out. That partner of hers did what he said he was going to do, which was take his own life. Now, does it make sense for her to stay in that situation, being bled on by a person who is very much hurt and broken and challenged and going through all of these things, so that that other person doesn't take their own lives? Or should they take care of themselves first? And I know it's a very, very, very sensitive subject. So I just want to be mindful about the fact that the situations I'm talking about of people using you as their therapist is that it becomes burdensome and heavy for you to carry. It becomes too much. 011 883 0702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 and 702. Eddie in East Rand, hi.
How are you today?
Good, thanks, and you?
I'm blessed, Relebogile. Thank you so much.
Yes. Go ahead, Eddie.
Yeah, what I was saying is there are, I think the issue of the sympathy or empathy or generosity is something that exists in certain people as a gift. And they just can't stand around and watch anybody going through lack or emptiness, and they don't reach out. Like a mother's love, where a mother gets to give everything she has. And you're wondering, and some fathers go out of their way. You find this man is putting on the same gym the whole year, but his kids are always looking good. His relatives are always taking from him and they are looking good, but he never gives back to himself. And you just can't tell how he manages to not be good to himself, or just by being selfish to himself, just to see others thrive or prosper. So I think it's something that to some people it's hard to walk away from just being that. And in the end, obviously, it becomes a regretful thing, because some of them die young, or they get certain diseases out of that kind of being a sponge. But you find that it's hard for them to walk away from being that. They feel more guilty for walking away than they feel for saying no to such a thing.
And you know, Eddie, what you're saying is so true, but I think that goes back to the person. If you are, and I want to keep children out of the conversation, because that's a different level of what a parent will extend themselves to. Sometimes a person needs to ask themselves why they would rather carry the burden of other people's challenges than it is taking care of themselves. And let's exclude the dynamics of parents and children. If there are other adults that are responsible for themselves, one has to ask themselves why it is so important for them to carry others at the cost of their own well-being.
I think then many people have not had a chance to be around, because I would call it, I don't know, but I would call it like a low self-esteem. whereby I need validation, like I'm buying myself into people so that I'm accepted to a particular level, and then I just can't say no to anything. Like when you're painting it that way, then you bring me to this type of reflection.
And you see, you've hit the nail on the head, Eddie, because if anybody has ever been in a position where they're afraid of not being liked, if anybody has considered themselves a people pleaser, if anybody has ever struggled with what people are going to think of them if they say no, or I'm unable, or not this time around, those are the exact things that one needs to deal with within themselves. But I have to leave it there, Eddie, and thank you so much for your call. We've got voice notes that are coming through 072 702 and 702.
Afternoon, Relebogile. I have a story. I had two friends which I kind of hooked them up, So 5 years down the line, they're no longer dating. They have a child together and they're co-parenting. Believe me, I have to listen to both sides every single time. Even on the last weekend, I had to mediate on some of the issues and give advice to this. Yeah, it's something else. It's Anonymous in Rustenburg.
Hi, Relebogile and the team. I'm everyone's social worker, be it at work, at home. I'm just that person that people feel the need to share with, and I don't have a problem with that. Even when I'm in hospital, nurses will come and talk to me and seek advice from me, or just, when they need someone to talk to. I don't have a problem. I love it. I love helping people. But I have this one chommy, this one friend. My best friend will not listen to me. Like, whenever I share or seek advice, she will be quiet, she will listen, and her response will be, "Hi, okay, chommy. Ke a robala." And she will hang up unceremoniously, and that's just who she is. So I just feel it's a bit unfair, but okay, I understand her, but I'm everyone's social worker. Busi from Dobsonville.
Busi. Hi, okay, Kilorowal, I'm going to bed. No, man. Not even, are you okay? I'm here if you need me. Hey.
Hello, Relebogile. I am one of those people. They always dump things on me to find solutions, to give advice, to assist, to find jobs and everything else. And I'm telling you, it is very, very tiring, because in the first place, when I have issues, even if I reach out to them, they offer no solution. It is so tiring. I feel overburdened. I don't know what to do, but these are my family, and I feel stuck because I cannot wash off my hands off them. Yeah, that's where I am.
Good afternoon, Relebogile. A very sensitive topic that you're discussing today. I've been in a relationship and a friendship whereby I was always the listener. I was always taking on the trauma, and the next person being the one who's just relieved after that. And now I have to go around with this heavy burden on my shoulders. And the interesting thing, Relebogile, is that, or maybe the worrying thing, the scariest thing, is that sometimes the things that you are told is about people. And I think in those cases, one needs to be very protective of themselves, of their ears, of their hearts, because once you know certain things about people, especially those that are in your circle, leaders, especially it becomes very toxic. And I think it's very important to be kind to those people, but also create those boundaries that allow you to be able to maintain your peace and your sanity. But oftentimes those people level, they do have some sort of trauma, and often need a qualified therapist to be the one helping them through this trauma that they're going through. But they're very toxic, those relationships and friendships. And I think one needs to be treated very lightly. Thanks, Lebo. Anonymous from Pretoria.
Thank you so much, Anonymous. It is also okay when you don't know what to do. Sometimes a person just wants to vent and not necessarily have their problem solved. They just want a listening ear. Sometimes that's it. Sometimes that's all you need to be, but at times, yes, it can definitely be a lot. Hi, Relebogile. I would rather be people's therapist than an ATM. There are T's and C's. If it's heavy for you, just know I can't keep it either. I will definitely be offloading your problems to someone else. Guys. Okay, I did not expect that at all. Hi, Relebogile team. I was the one who people came to when they needed to offload until I had my own problems and was diagnosed with major depression disorder. Then I was the one who needed to offload, but I could feel that I'm becoming a nuisance to other people and I stopped. I only offloaded to my psychiatrist, Anonymous in Vereniging. Anonymous, I hope you are able to find a community that you can offload to. It doesn't have to be big. It can be 2 or 3 people, but I think everybody needs to know that should things be really bad, you can pick up a phone without needing to pay them to listen to you first. Right? I really, really hope everybody is aware that you should have that person and the relationship must be mutual. It's not always going to be family and it's not always going to be friends. But people that make you feel safe, we all need that person. All of us. Even with me having a therapist, my sister having a therapist, we have each other as besties. It's a safe space to offload, to vent, to cry. And to hype each other up. Like, it's important. So I hope that those of you listening today feeling like, am I a burden to other people? Have a conversation. If you are feeling like, I wish somebody who could listen to me, speak out to the people that you've been there for. And if it's not working out, move on. But thank you so much for your calls, messages, and voice notes.
John Perlman. Weekday afternoons,
3 to 6.
Are there some local authorities or provincial bodies that are actually ignoring your deregistration and giving people this work anyway?
No, we have not experienced that. In fact, because these become part of a national government gazette, in fact, clients have been coming forward to us to saying they want to terminate certain projects because they've noted our efforts of deregistration. And we are quite public with the companies that we've deregistered because it's against the law. It's deemed irregular to appoint a contractor that is not in good standing with the CIDB grading.
John Perlman.
3 to 6 on 702.
At Checkers, we do more so you get extra this Christmas with over 2 billion rand in festive savings. Like Lindt or chocolate cornets 200 grams, any for 139.99 each. And Clover Butro full cream modified butter spread, 500 grams, 2 for 149 rand. Plus, stand a chance to win your share of 7 million rand in prizes. Simply buy any 3 qualifying products and swipe your extra savings card to enter. Valid until Sunday at Checkers. T&Cs apply.
It's amazing what Help can do. Help can take you from smart money moves to smart gadgets and household must-haves. With an FNB Premier Credit or Fusion card, get up to 40% back in e-bucks on devices and appliances. Open any FNB Premier account today, celebrating 25 years of helping you live the Premier life. FNB, help changes everything. TC's earn rules apply while stocks last. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
In ancient Corinth, as Alexander the Great approached the philosopher Diogenes and offered to grant him any wish, Diogenes simply replied, "Stand a little out of my sun." At Plus 94 Research, we believe in illuminating the path to informed decisions. By removing the shadows of uncertainty, we let the light of data-driven insights shine through. Don't let assumptions cloud your vision. Step into the light of clarity. Plus 94 Research, the science of decision-making.
702. Finance Feature.
9 minutes to 2 o'clock in our finance feature for today. We are chatting with Patrick Buthelezi, Sanlam Investments economist, about why a strong economy does not automatically equate better quality of life. Your calls with your questions, 011 883 0702 in the WhatsApp line, 072 702 1702. Patrick, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Relebogile, and greetings to the listeners. And thank you for having me.
Patrick, please share with us what a strong economy is. What do the numbers have to look like for our economy or an economy to be considered strong?
Okay, so economy, there is, economies are classified differently. So there is a lower income economy, there is a middle income economy, and there is upper middle income economies, and there is upper income economies. So that is based on the classification by the World Bank. So for instance, a lower income, the economy is classified as lower income if on a per capita basis, GDP per capita basis is 1,135 or less. So if the economy, the size of the economy is 1,135 per capita or less, then is classified as a lower income. And the middle income should be above that, up to close to 4,000. And then for upper middle income, so it's for an economy that is between, say, 4,400 to, say, 13,800. And then for higher economies, so economies that are, say close to 14,000 and higher. So those economies are classified as higher income economies, so strong economies. So for those economies, you talk about economies like United States, you talk about economies like Europe, Japan, United Kingdom, you talk about Singapore. And in terms of middle income economies, that is where South Africa would be, because our level of GDP is lower than upper income economies.
Okay, and I think it's so important that you explain that part, because South Africans, us not being considered at the top, can look at countries like the US, can look at countries like the UK and wonder why you have people complaining that they are struggling. So help us understand then, in the context of South Africa, if we became a strong economy, why does that not automatically equate to better quality of life?
Yeah, it's just that when we're talking about a stronger or higher economy in terms of size, so you're looking at the value of goods and services that is produced in the economy. So that doesn't necessarily translate into prosperity for everyone, because, for instance, if I'm just making an example, so the economy can be producing a lot of goods, say, for instance, using robots, but people are not benefiting from that production. So the measurement of if the economy is on the upper side or middle is just based on the size or the production that the economy is making. So it doesn't necessarily going through in terms of distribution, because there is another side that is important. So you have the production side that will lift the economy in terms of size, but the distribution, that is where often we find the problem. Because if you can find out that the economy is very high, but people are struggling, especially those people who are left behind in the economy. So yeah, so that is the point.
So what then would be required in relation to the economy for us as a country to all have a better quality of life?
Yeah, for a country to have a better quality of life, I think we'll have to look at the number of areas, for instance, in terms of education, do all citizens in the economy have equal access to education, also in terms of health, and also in terms of opportunities, in terms of, for instance, in this case, jobs, because you find that in some cases the economy is large, but people don't have access to good quality health, and if they don't have good access to quality health, then the life expectancy can be shorter instead of being longer. And also, if people don't have equal access to good education, then that will have an impact in terms of social mobility. Also in terms of jobs. So if people don't have access, good access in terms of job opportunities, that will also have a negative impact in terms of hindering the quality of life. So if people can have access in all these factors as opposed to just one area, then I think the well-being of the people can improve significantly.
Sure. Thank you so much for chatting to us, Patrick, and sharing this information. I think it is so important that all of us are aware about the difference between a strong economy and one that is strong and people not necessarily having a better quality of life, because ideally we want everybody to have a better quality of life, not just for us to have a strong economy. And that is what we have for today in our finance feature.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
Johannesburg Mayor Dada Morero has dismissed allegations that service delivery under his administration has declined sharply. Morero survived yet another motion of no confidence in the city council today, tabled by the Al Jama'ah party. Although part of the ANC-led coalition, Al Jama'ah claimed that Morero was not prioritizing the restoration of the city to its former glory. However, during today's council meeting, the party announced it would withdraw the motion following a meeting with the mayor last night.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
The stage, the lights, the crowd, everything's perfect until suddenly someone slips on the dance floor. A speaker lands in the buffet. In an instant, your masterpiece is a mess. That's why Auto & General is there with Events Liability Insurance. We handle the unexpected so you don't have to. Plan the party, wow the guests, leave the rest to us. For more information on Events Liability Insurance, visit autogen.co.za. Auto & General, never not there. Auto & General is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
And the award for the spiciest stunt performed in a bowl goes to Tom Yum Cruise.
Thank you everyone. Wow, what an honor. I'd like to thank the chilies, the lemongrass, and of course, Simply Asia, for believing in my flavor.
It's the summer of stars at Simply Asia. Stand a chance to win a Toyota Starlet when you spend 200 Rand or more on our famous flavors. Order now. Simply Asia, connecting the Thaiway.
Dive into a summer of extra with free gifts from Vodacom on all summer deals. Like the Honor 400 5G for just 499 per month over 36 months on a 1 gig rate core plan. You also get a free Honor Pad X7 worth 1,999. Plus, get 5 gigs YouTube data for 3 months and 2 months free YouTube Premium. Available in-store and online. T's and C's apply. Further together. Vodacom.
In the next hour of the show, our masterclass on resuscitology. It's just after 2 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Bali Zamini. 2 men believed to be escorting alleged criminal kingpin Gatisa KT Molefe have been arrested. It's understood the men were found to be carrying firearms without valid permits today. Molefe returned to the Alexandra Magistrates Court this morning, facing charges including murder. Those charges are linked to the alleged murders of Vereniging engineer Armin Swart, musician Obasifuka, and Hector Butelezi, popularly known as DJ Sambodi and DJ Vintos, respectively. The case has now been transferred to the High Court for trial. Khomotso Modise has more.
Katiso KT Molefe is out on R500,000 bail, and unlike his co-accused, he was not wearing leg irons during his court appearance this morning. This morning's sitting was for the state to confirm whether Molefe's case is ready to be transferred to the High Court. His dockets of charges including murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and possession of unlicensed firearms have been centralized ahead of the trial. The matter has been set down for trial in February in the High Court, where Molefe and his alleged hitmen Michael Pule Dau, Mabusela and Musa Kekana will all attend. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News at the Alexandra Magistrates Court.
The EFF has laid a complaint of perjury with the Public Protector and the police against Higher Education Minister Buti Manamela. The party says Manamela gave conflicting submissions in court papers and in Parliament about whether he held meetings with the National Skills Authority before placing 3 sector education and training authorities under administration. The EFF says Manamela risks going down the same road as his predecessor Nobuhle Nkabane, who was removed from cabinet after misleading Parliament over the SETA board appointments. Babalondenze reports.
EFF MP Sihle Lonzi says when Buti Manamela released a gazette in August, placing 3 seaters under administration, he was supposed to consult with the National Skills Authority and the seaters in question. Lonzi says when he came to Parliament, he took MPs in his confidence and told them that he did not consult with the seaters and the NSA. But to their surprise, Lonzi says Manamela filed an answering affidavit against the local government seater, which took him to court, where he says he personally consulted with the NSA on the 7th of August. Lonzi says Manamela gave a different version in Parliament last month.
Now, what is clear here at the time was that either the minister was lying to Parliament or the minister was lying to the courts of South Africa, because these 2 versions are mutually exclusive. They can't both be true at the same time.
Lonzi says Manamela told a material lie to the court to try influence the outcome in the local government seater court challenge. Babalondenze, Eyewitness News, Cape Town.
Let's stay with matters affecting the Higher Education Minister, Buti Manamela, who has now given the Vaal University of Technology until Friday to respond to concerns about an alleged degree-selling syndicate at the institution. This comes amid a probe by VUT into an employee at the centre of an alleged fraud scheme selling fake degrees to foreign nationals. The allegations date back to 2018. It's believed a whistleblower initially raised concerns about illegal registrations and irregular admissions, with senior management now accused of failing to act on the claims, while the Higher Education Ministry previously indicated it would be waiting for the outcome of the university's internal probe. Manamela's spokesperson, Matsepo Sidat, says the minister is now unhappy about the institution's conduct.
The minister is disturbed by allegations that senior management may have been in possession of credible evidence from a whistleblower for a year without taking decisive action.
Sidat says Manamela has written to the VUT Council chairperson demanding answers by the end of this week.
The minister has requested specific details on why there was an alleged 12-month delay in acting on the whistleblower's report, proof that consequence management is actively taking place, immediate measures to ring-fence the 2026 registration process to protect it from further manipulation.
The Department of International Relations says it considers South Africa's non-invitation to the first meeting of Group of 20 Sherpas since handing over the presidency to the United States as a breach of protocol. Director General Zane Dango has confirmed to Parliament today that South Africa was excluded from Sunday's meeting that would start to map out the next year of the G20's work. Dango says South Africa learned of the meeting from other member states who say they expressed their disapproval at South Africa being snubbed. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
Following last month's G20 Leaders Summit, United States President Donald Trump decreed on social media that South Africa would not be included in next year's G20 meetings after refusing to hand over the presidency to a diplomat in his absence. But International Relations Director General Zane Dango says the US does not have the prerogative to exclude South Africa as a G20 member.
This is a breach of G20 protocol. Guest countries get invited, and South Africa is a member of the G20, and our participation shouldn't be dependent on whether the presidency seeks to invite a member or not.
Answering questions from Parliament's Portfolio Committee today, Dango could not immediately say how the department will address the matter. But he says other Sherpas had informed South Africa that the issue did come up for discussion at the meeting. US Sherpas reportedly said they were carrying out the instruction of their president by not inviting South African Sherpas to attend. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And the Trump administration has halted immigration applications from nationals of 19 countries. Authorities paused green card and citizenship processing for people from countries including Afghanistan, Yemen and Haiti, already subject to travel restrictions announced by US President Donald Trump. According to a report, more than 1.4 million people have pending asylum applications that could be affected by the new pause. The move comes less than a week after 2 National Guard members were shot on patrol in Washington, D.C., leaving one dead and the other critically injured. Gold is trading at $4,202.87 an ounce. The rand is at 17.09 to the dollar, 22.70 to the pound, 19.93 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $62.51 a barrel.
Heading in and out of the Joburg CBD, you can still expect about a 20-minute delay. That's in the Amalgam area on Main Reef Road between Anderson and Nasrec. Calvin roadworks still slowing down traffic on the N3 in both directions between the Bethlehem Interchange and London Road, and in Fourways there's slow-moving traffic on Winnie Mandela Drive between Uranium and the N1.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng with scattered showers and thundershowers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 24 and 27 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: 2 men believed to be escorting alleged criminal kingpin Katiso KT Molefe have been arrested.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja
Live, streaming countrywide
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
After 2 o'clock, it's the second and final hour of 7:02 afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja, and we are going to be getting into a masterclass. And let me just say before we get into that, so many of your messages coming from our opening conversation where we're speaking about being the person that is everybody's therapist or some people's therapist, and one person says, people who suck the life out of you are referred to as energy vampires. Avoid them at all costs. And I guess for you, it's differentiating what that thing is. If that person has become an energy vampire and you are feeling like you are being used. Very, very important conversation. And another person said we're all on this planet for a particular purpose. When you are the one always helping, that is just your purpose. Don't expect reciprocation from Mr. Al. I have to say, Mr. Al, I don't agree with that. You cannot have only a purpose of helping and giving to others. That's not how life works. Maybe in somebody's life and in that period that is the case, but I don't think that a person's only purpose is to give and give and give. But yes, coming up in this hour, we'll be having a masterclass on resuscitology, and we'll be joined by Kathy Bodmer, BLS National Faculty Resuscitation Council of Southern Africa. Get in touch with us on 011 8830702, SMS us 31702, tweet at Relebogile M, at Radio 702, using the hashtag 702 afternoons, and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702
Masterclass.
Our masterclass for today is on a very critical conversation, resuscitology. So that has to do with resuscitating individuals, saving life. It's a very, very important life skill that one should have. And if you've heard of things like CPR and understanding the concept of the ABCs, make sure you listen to this conversation, because you will definitely get something out of it, and you could be saving the life of a loved one or even a stranger that you happen to come across. So joining us for this masterclass, we're joined by Kathy Bodmer, BLS National Faculty, Resuscitation Council of Southern Africa. Kathy, welcome to the show. Thank you so, so much for joining us.
It's great to be here. Thanks. I've actually brought two of us along today.
Hi, how are you doing?
This is Mara. Mara is one of our instructors who runs our advanced life support training. So we've come with all the skills and lots of knowledge.
Thank you so much. So I want to share, Kathy, that I recall when I was growing up, it would have been in the 90s, there was a show that used to play called Rescue 911. And that show, I don't think they're even aware how many people's lives that show might have saved. But because of that show, when my cousin ran into the pool at the time, he was maybe around 2 years old and I was maybe around 11. But we were on holiday, he ran into the pool and I knew what to do because of that show. Now, I didn't do CPR at the time, but I flipped him over and just started beating his back, because I remember watching that and I'm thinking to myself now, it's actually, we need those shows again, because children sometimes become the ones that are saving lives. But let's kick off with, are you aware of considering the size of our population, what percentage of it, and you can even give a guesstimate, of people that actually know some of these resuscitation techniques, that they could do something in a life-threatening situation, and you really can do a guesstimate?
Well, I think the bad news is that in South Africa, we most probably running at about 1% of the population will be CPR proficient, which is tragic.
1% of the population.
That is really unfortunate. But at the moment, in spite of some organizations like the Resus Council and other organizations out there trying to run training for the public as well as update healthcare professionals, there's still way too little training happening. And I think some of it could easily be cured, but every child in high school, as far as I'm concerned, should by compulsory CPR training and first aid training, which would solve an enormous problem and have an enormous impact on our country.
And of that 1%, I'm assuming you're including health professionals and people who have to know these techniques for their jobs, maybe like nannies and first aiders and those kind of people.
Yes, I'm including all of them.
Wow.
Would you go bigger than that?
No, I think that's...
Yeah, no, we agree, 1%.
Wow.
I don't think we've got those statistics. They're not available.
Yes.
But
yes.
It's tragic.
Okay, so let's go to the very basics. What is resuscitation?
Is just when we find a patient who is not breathing for themselves and maybe doesn't have a pulse, that we get on their chests and we create a pulse for them and we pump the blood around their body to provide their brain with oxygen. So it's a life-saving skill, or it at least maintains blood and perfusion with the brain, which buys us some time until advanced life support can come and hopefully up the ante and treat the patient better and maybe deal with the cause of the arrest.
Okay, so if one speaks of CPR, does that cover the whole concept of resuscitation?
Yes, so CPR stands for cardiopulmonary resuscitation. So that is dealing with the problem of the heart and the breathing together. And those are skills so easily learned and so easily taught. We can teach a child in primary school how to do CPR on another child. And as you saw when you watched the TV program, there have been cases where people have actually performed CPR on a sibling, and all they did was saw the pictures of how to do CPR in a first aid textbook. So really, you need to have very little knowledge to be able to respond appropriately.
Such a small, easy thing to learn, but such a massive impact it can have on the course of events, and not just the person's life, but those around them. 011-883-0702, the WhatsApp line, 072-7021-702. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we continue. Please do share your experiences. Let's run a mini poll and see how many of you listeners use the WhatsApp line or give us a call. Tell us, do you know how to do CPR? Let's keep it as simple as that. Do you know how to do CPR? If somebody in your home was choking, or you found them unconscious, or something had happened to them and you need to perform CPR, would you know what to do? 011-883-0702 and the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702.
A man driven to the edge. I don't know where you are. I don't know who you're with. When his beloved takeaway was taken away. I will look for you. I will find you. And I will eat you.
It's the summer of stars at Simply Asia. Stand a chance to win a Toyota Starlet when you spend 200 Rand or more on our famous flavors. Order now. Simply Asia, connecting the Thaiway.
Some numbers bring instant stress, like a speeding fine, another petrol price hike, or that one debit order you forgot about, again. But not all numbers bring panic. Some bring calm and actual life-saving support. With 24/7 emergency support and over 300 ambulances, ER24 is there when you need us most. Don't wait for an emergency. See it, say it, save it. 084 124.
Those trusty old shoes, there for your first move out of home. That marathon training that lasted a day, the quick runs to the store, the long nights out. Yeah, they've done the most for you. But with the Street Store, they can do even more for someone else. Visit thestreetstore.org to find out more about donating your pre-loved shoes and clothes to the world's first rent-free pop-up clothing store for the homeless. Donate before December 6, 2025.
Are you looking for the best spectacle and sunglass deal? With Specsavers buy one, get one offer, you get great value for money. Get a free pair of branded single vision prescription sunglasses up to 3,300 Rand when you purchase a comprehensive eye examination and spectacle frames with lenses on your first pair. The best part? Choose from top brands like Police, Hugo, Under Armour, Tommy Hilfiger, Red Bull Spect, and more. Affordable eye care? Specsavers. T's and C's apply.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
On your next Money Show, our shapeshifter, none other than the FNB CEO, Harry Kellen, will explore his incredible journey to becoming the FNB CEO. Advita Naidu, Africa MD at Jackhammer Global, brings you the latest from the world of business unusual. Consumer ninja Wendy Nola, fighting for your rights, and of course, we'll unpack all the top business news of the day. Don't miss it. The Money Show, where business comes to life.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show, Stephen Curtis, is brought to you by ABSA CIB. Invested in your story because your story matters. ABSA is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
702.
Masterclass.
20 minutes after 2 o'clock, we continue with our masterclass for today as we chat about resuscitology. And we're joined by Kathy Bodmer, BLS National Faculty, Resuscitation Council of Southern Africa. We take your calls on 011-883-0702 and the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. I want us to kick off, Kathy, with just what are the absolute basics that one would teach in the first aid room, or if you're just sending somebody to learn CPR, what are some of the first things that you start to teach those in the room?
We follow guidelines in the teaching that we do here in South Africa, and the Resuscitation Council of Southern Africa lays those out quite clearly. And the guidelines we're following today are brand new, hot off the press, and were released only at the end of October. So the guideline starts with what you would run in any first aid course, and it starts with hazards, hello, and help. So the first three steps are Is it, as soon as you recognize something has happened, is it safe for you to be there? Is there a danger? Maybe you should run away and call for help, or whether you can stay and assess the patient. So make sure you're safe, deal with the hazards. And then you want to work out if the patient is responsive or not. So we want to tap them on their shoulders quite forcefully, be loud over them and go, are you awake? Hello, hello. See if there's any response from the patient. If the patient is unresponsive, then they're not breathing. If you can see obvious signs of breathing, then that's good news. They could be unconscious and breathing. But if you don't see obvious signs of breathing, then the third H would be calling for help, and that would be activating an emergency response. So you can dial 112 or a private government ambulance service, but 112 is mostly the best to be used across the country, nationally, and explain to somebody there that you found a patient who's not breathing and we're going to start CPR. So that's just the beginning 3 steps. Hazards, hello, are they not breathing, are they unresponsive, and then make sure you activate help, because without help, this patient doesn't have any chance. We need somebody to come and preferably be coming with a defibrillator so that we can shock the patient.
What I like about the hazard hello help or the triple H is that at least the person will recall with the H. You also need to, and I think I remember this from first aid, assess that there aren't any hazards that could also affect you before you go and approach the person. Yeah. Can you chat to us about why that is so important? Because we do know that there are people who stop to assist strangers, but they can also somehow put their own lives in danger. Let's say you see a person on the side of the road, but you bending over there might not be safe for you to do so because it's a fresh car accident, or whatever the case may be.
Absolutely. This happens more often than we like. When something happens out of the usual, we get tunnel vision, and all you see is what's caught your attention. So if you stop to see a patient and your adrenaline is pumping and your pulse rate has risen, it's very likely that you won't notice that you're in danger. So you've really got to make a conscious effort to almost step back a step and go, whoa, what has happened? Do I understand what's happened? Can I be here? Is it safe for me to be here? So if you're on the side of the road and you're on the national road in South Africa, another car at 120, 140 kilometers will just take you out. So you really have to make sure, is it safe for you to be there? And maybe it isn't. If you can't pull the patient to safety, then don't put yourself in danger to try and help somebody who may already be dead.
Yeah, that is so serious for one to think about. What about the hazards that we can maybe touch on around a swimming pool or a body of water?
Yeah, I think the challenges with water are obviously a bit different, because some people, and this happens in South Africa every summer, is that somebody will jump into the water to get a patient out because of their tunnel vision, and they haven't thought about the fact that they aren't a strong swimmer themselves. And our coastline, the water is not a smooth swimming pool. If you're not a strong swimmer, you're going to get into trouble. So if the patient has come out of the pool, or someone's helped to get the patient out the pool, out of a river, out of the ocean, you want to put them on a firm surface as soon as possible, and don't delay, because we want to now start CPR, assess them and start CPR as quickly as possible.
Okay, the second one where you were saying about the hello, what is the reason that part is so important? Is it just to assess that the person is alert, is alive, and maybe how assist here? I know that there are some countries where people are advised, ask a person for permission before you help them. I know in America you can sue for everything. I saw a guy being sued after he saved a woman's life. She was about to, fall off of the train thingy and fall in front of the train. She saved his life. Now he's suing her, saying he touched her inappropriately, which just sounds so ridiculous. But chat to us about the hello and what the entire purpose of that hello is.
Yes, well, we actually brought a mannequin so we could show you all of these skills just now, but on the floor. But you're really going to, sorry, Mara, I'm going to whack you. We're going to smack them firmly on their shoulders, going, hello, hello, because I don't want to rip open her shirt and push on her chest if she doesn't need it. That's called assault.
Yes.
So we really need to check, do they need our assistance? So if they're awake, I can say to them then, I'm Kathy and I'm a first aider or I'm a paramedic, whatever the case is, I'm here, can I help you? But if they're unresponsive, then we take it as given that we can do what's needed without their permission. We must do what's right regardless.
Okay, and I'm glad that you mentioned that, because we are at some point in the masterclass going to talk about what can potentially go wrong during resuscitation and what a person should be prioritizing in that case. So the hello, you're checking, you're alert, you're alive. Okay, the person is non-responsive and they are, whatever the situation is, you've assessed. The part about help is that, so help is making sure that help is on the way while you are doing what you need to do.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, the response times in South Africa are slow, very slow. So the quicker we call for help, the better. And if you're in a shopping center or in a university or some kind of public space at the airport, when you call for help, make sure you tell them that we want an AED. We want them to bring an automated defibrillator. If it came now, we could use without waiting for the ambulance to arrive.
So AED is what you're asking for. So that's the machine that would come and try to basically shock life back into the person.
Yes, that's an automated external defibrillator. So it means that the person who uses doesn't have to have studied how to analyze an ECG rhythm, and the machine does it automatically for you. And that is what's going to possibly get the heart to turn back on again. So we want to not delay. If that can come, that's fantastic. But when we call for help, I think one or two important points about when we call for help is give very clear description about what's happened. If you just call and say someone's collapsed, that's not a priority call. We really need to say, I found somebody who's unconscious, not breathing, or we start in CPR. And so the ambulance services understand that this is possibly a viable patient if we get there quickly, and they will move earth and heaven to get there. But if we don't give a good message, then they won't. The next important thing is to give a clear description of where you are. So Mara and I have both worked in ambulances for decades, and let me tell you, you would spend a lot of time riding up and down a road, looking for a street, looking for a number of a house, and there's no numbers outside, or the number is in the dark at night. So if you're at home and you call for an ambulance, try and send somebody out into the road to wave the ambulance down. Try and help the emergency services find you quickly.
I need to ask a question with regards to emergency services. As you're talking, I just thought about it now. If it's a situation where police get there before, first aiders or an ambulance, do police officers, are they required to be trained in CPR? And if you are aware, because I feel like they should all know how to do CPR because they are often first responders. I just thought about it now.
Feel exactly the same. I think we feel exactly the same as you. Every risk, anybody coming as a first responder should know how to do CPR. I think, if I'm not mistaken, that the police do some very basic first aid during their initial training. But what you got trained in 6 months ago, you already have skills fade. What you got trained in 10 years ago, you've long forgotten if you aren't doing it regularly. So we do get the privilege of training some policemen every now and then, and they normally are enormously appreciative of the fact that they feel so inadequate when they arrive on a scene and they don't have anything to stop bleeding, they don't have anything to do CPR. And sometimes it's their colleague that needs the CPR and bleeding to be controlled. So, we agree with you. This is something that should actually be addressed. Everybody out there, and especially our emergency services, the police, like the firemen, should all know how to respond appropriately in those moments while we wait for healthcare providers to arrive.
Because I'm just like, they usually get called first if imminent danger is still prevalent. But if the cops get there and they can't help save a life, like, okay, wow, I can't be, wow, we need to find this out. Wow is all I can say. We're going to continue with the masterclass when we come back. If you're a police officer, please let us know what part of CPR they taught you. I want to know. Do you know how to perform CPR? Have you ever had to save a life on the job? Because if we have that many SAPS officers, Metro cops, first responders, but they don't know CPR, that makes no sense. I'm shocked. Time for news. Time for latest eyewitness news headlines. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Relebogile. A very good afternoon. We begin in KZN, where the Cooperative Governance Department has confirmed that 2 more bodies have been recovered following flooding in New Hanover last week. The 2 people were part of 3 others who were swept away during flash flooding, which left nearly 20 homes destroyed in the region. Officials have confirmed that all who went missing during the weather-related incident are now accounted for. Suspended acting EMPD head Julius Mkhwanazi has admitted he refused to have his fingerprints and those of his team taken for criminal record checks. In 2022, EMPD undertook a vetting process which saw almost 4,000 EMPD officers' fingerprints being taken for checks. Close to 300 were found to have criminal records during that process. And the EFF has laid a complaint of perjury with the Public Protector and the police against Higher Education Minister Buti Manamela. The party says Manamela gave conflicting submissions in court papers as well as in Parliament about whether he held meetings with the National Skills Authority before placing 3 sector education and training authorities under administration. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 3 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this stage, if you're heading in and out of the Joburg CBD, you can still expect about a 20-minute delay. This is in the Amalgam area on Main Reef Road between Anderson and Nasrec Road. Also, traveling through the Parktown Melrose, heading into the Joburg CBD, traffic is already backing up. This is M1 southbound between Ethel Oaklands, and this is between Ethel Oaklands and the double-decker section. In the Calvin Alex area, also look out for those roadworks on the N3 affecting traffic in both directions between London Road and the Butlu interchange. We still have bumper-to-bumper traffic in the Fourways area. This is on Winnie Mandela Drive between Uranium and the N1. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
There's a new way to experience all your favorites. Pulse Africa, the 24/7 fast channel, now live on PrimeMediaPlus.com and the Prime Media Plus app, bringing you the best of Prime Media around the clock. Watch the biggest moments from 702. It's non-stop entertainment and authentic African storytelling, all from Africa's leading media network. Pulse Africa, only on the PrimeMediaPlus.com and Prime Media Plus app.
Good times is what life is all about. But heartburn, indigestion, acid reflux, and UTIs can put a damper on your day. With a wide range of products from Adcock Ingram OTC, you can build a survival pack to help you and your family with your gut and urinary health. Adcock Ingram OTC has you covered with products like Citrus Soda, Adco Mayo Gel, Scopex, and LP299V. Ask your pharmacist for a host of Adcock Ingram OTC solutions for your gut and urinary problems and visit beprepared365.co.za.
Year in, year out, we're fixing tires faster than a Formula One pit crew. My team is on top of things like tire whisperers. If an unforeseen accident were to happen in my workshop, at least I've got My Way business insurance to keep the wheels turning.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
Stop. Turn off the noise. Put down the phone. Have dinner with your family. Sit on the couch with your mum. Belly flop into bed for a power nap. Make your house home again with the furniture you'll love at prices you'll love even more. Celebrate style and celebrate savings at Decophone Furniture with incredible discounts every day till end January. In store or at decophoneSA.co.za.
Mntanami, uthando has no return. Stay. Ubekezele. It's what makes you a woman. A home is built with patience and quiet. Thula. Don't answer back. Just keep the peace. That's what we were taught.
When you see it, you see the line between love and nokubegezela. Abusive behavior should never be excused. Search Bright Sky SA and bring the signs of GBV into focus. Connecting for good. Vodacom.
Coming up
on 702 Drive with John Perlman.
702 Drive is coming up from 3 to 6 p.m. with John Perlman. John, how are you doing?
Yeah, doing fine, thanks. I've got a big file for you. I've printed out all the WhatsApps that carried on into the night, I can tell you, from your really, really thought-provoking discussion yesterday.
Right.
So there we go.
And
yeah.
I think I can understand why it's such a sensitive
Yeah.
subject. But I just I would never change. Like, that's my favorite part about the work that we do.
Yeah.
Is just hearing different people's thoughts and opinions, and you never know what seed is planted in somebody's mind that can change the complete trajectory of their lives. But at the top of the show today, we're talking about being people's therapist. Are you anybody's therapist? Have you ever been somebody's therapist where you feel like they keep dumping their things on you and then it became a bit burdensome and heavy?
No, I don't think I have. Short answer. I think there was a time, in very particular situations in my family, but very briefly, where I'd sort of try and make, things nice for everybody. But I lost the job very quickly because I was no good at it. And I think people made it very clear. Dude,
you're not good at
get
this.
another calling. You're not any good at this. And they were right, because I wasn't.
All right, what's coming up on your show today?
So, there's quite a lot going on. The suspended EMPD Commissioner Julius Mkhwanazi is testifying at the Madlanga Commission. It's quite a thing going on. I think they're struggling to get him, well, certainly when I watched, to stick to the question, stick to the answer. But we'll find out how they did at the end of the day. Oren Singh in with us at 10 minutes past 5. I know it's a long way away, but the Rugby World Cup in 2027, the draw has been made. South Africa have got a fairly easy draw until they hit the quarterfinals, when we might meet the All Blacks. But there's a lot to talk about there. In terms of the G20, the first meeting of G20 2026, in other words, next year's running of that organization, has been convened. Dates been set. We're not invited. I don't mean you and me. I mean the whole country. The United States making good on its threats. So we're going to look at the implications of that, and we'll do that after 4 o'clock. Extraordinary developments at the Senzo Mayiwa murder trial. We spoke about it yesterday briefly when we chatted. Relebogile, but it's carrying on again today with certain more things are being said about the possible existence of a plot to murder the judge, the prosecutor, and possibly the investigating officer as well. So those are just some of the things we are going to be covering, and I'm sure other things will come up in the next hour or two.
Did you also visit the G20 website?
No, I didn't. What should I look for there?
Okay. Visit the G20 website. It's just g20.org.
Yes.
And all it is a landing page of Donald Trump fist up USA cap. And it says the best is yet to come. G20 basically in the USA. That's it. No content from the previous years, nothing.
Yes.
That's it. Just that page. So the first thing he did was just delete all the content.
Yeah. A whole president.
Right. Yeah, ne. 702 Drive with John Pullman coming up from 3 to 6 p.m.
702
Masterclass.
We continue with our masterclass today as we chat about resuscitation. 011 8830702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. And we are joined in this conversation on our masterclass by a person who has really, really fully delved into the world of resuscitology, Kathy Bodmer, BLS National Faculty Resuscitation Council of Southern Africa, as well as Marlies Venter, Advanced Life Support paramedic and instructor for PEC, that's Professional Emergency Care. 011 8830702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. Now, before we went to the news, and I was shocked about the SAPS, and I hope there's a police officer. Feel free to be anonymous. Even if you're a Metro cop, please share with us. As a first responder, do you know how to do CPR? Were you trained in it? Is it part of the work that you have done? Have you actually saved a person's life because you know of it? But I thought about other people. Kathy, that I think, and Marlies, that I think really, really should know how to do CPR is taxi drivers.
That's a good idea. That is a very good idea. Hopefully they weren't the cause of the drama. Hopefully they were just there,
yes.
On the road when it all happens.
Definitely. But I mean,
we see
it's a life
on the road.
It's a life skill every single adult should have. And as you said, it's something that you can do from when you're in primary school, that you can train in. So I want to fully emphasize that part of it. So let's get to the next part. We've spoken about the 3 H's. And just as a reminder to everybody, the 3 H's, if you've just joined the conversation, hazards. So look out for hazards. Hello, go and check the level of consciousness the person is at if they're breathing. And then the other H is call for help. And if you are at a place like an airport or anywhere else, specifically ask for an AED. You said it's automatic external defibrillator. Oof, oh, defibrillator.
Got it.
There we go. I've got it. All right. So what happens next? After you've done all of that, and now you need to get to the part of checking what's happening with this person before you actually start to implement the CPR. What do you do next?
So, well, now we know we're in a safe place. We know the patient is unresponsive. They're not breathing. Make sure the patient is positioned on the ground, horizontal. We want them lying flat on the ground with enough space so that you can kneel next to them and work. And sometimes that's in a confined space. And sometimes it may mean that you need to take a patient off their bed or out of a lazy boy or something like that. Get them on the ground quickly. And we need to expose the chest, and we need to put your hands in the center of the chest on the lower half of the sternum. And we're going to push hard, and we're going to push fast.
Before you
30 compressions.
Before you get that far, I want those of you that are able to watch on YouTube, feel free to do so. You'll be able to see a video of the demo, but we're going to talk slowly through it so you know. So let's go to the part where you said expose the chest, as in you need to make sure that the person's shirt is unbuttoned or taken off or ripped off. This is obviously life-threatening situation. So you are worried.
Quickly.
Yes. So you're quickly ripping off. And the reason we are doing this is?
Because you need to visualize the landmarks. You want to see that you're putting your hand in the right spot exactly. Because if you are just a centimeter or two off the sternum or you're off the breastbone, either side, you won't be then putting adequate pressure on the heart. You won't be emptying the heart and allowing it to fill. So the seeing the chest is actually critical.
Okay. If a person's wearing a wire bra, is that going to be a problem?
If it's in the way of your hands. So, if it's a young person with a sports bra on and is not in your way, then leave it where it is until the AED comes or a manual defibrillator, and then we'll have to move the straps so that we can get the equipment to make direct contact with the skin. But if the underwire bra is in the way of your hands and it's going to hurt you and hurt the patient, you need to get it out of the way. And so sometimes the fastest way of doing that isn't trying to roll someone over and undo the bra. It may just be to take the bra straps off the shoulders down to the bra flips down, so it's just moved out of the way of where your hands are.
So now we're going to look for the sternum and remind us all what a sternum is and where exactly we're looking. So wherever you are listening, do not take your hands off the steering wheel. But those of you that can start to feel, right? So what is the sternum? Remind us, for those of us that haven't done biology in years.
Breastbone, or the bone that runs down the center of your chest. So if you go to the bottom of your throat, where you can feel where that bone begins, and the bottom of it where it ends, it's where your ribs are attached, and we want to be on that bone, but you want to be on the lower half of that bone.
Okay, so you find the sternum.
So it's dead center of the chest, lower half.
Yes. So we're looking for the part before it becomes your tummy cavity, basically. So before you're going to feel with your fingers for the bone, and you're going to go all the way till you can see where the end of the bone is. So you know where the end of the bone is, right? Then how do you measure from there?
Divide that in half and put your hand. So you want to be on the lower half. So just if you put a finger at the top and a finger at the bottom and you divide that in half, your hand would be in that lower half of the sternum.
Okay, lower half of the
directly
sternum?
over, and it's directly over part of the heart.
Okay, so now...
Which is critical that we push there.
Yes, yes. Now we get to that bottom half. What do we do next?
I would put the heel of your hand on that bone and your other hand on top of your hand that's on the chest, holding them with your fingers interlacing. So one hand, palm is on top of the other hand. You're going to lock your elbows and you want to have your shoulders right over your hands directly. So your arms are at 90 degrees to the chest. Otherwise, you won't push down adequately if you're going from a different angle. You want to be right above the patient. So your knees must be level with the patient's chest.
All right, let's take that again slowly. So the person's laying flat. You are kneeling next to them. Is there a preferable side that you should be leaning, on their left or on their right?
No, at this level, really don't worry. You can do it from either side.
Okay, so you're kneeling next to the person. You're going to, once you've found the bottom half of the sternum, take your hand, hold it up, take your other hand and sort of interlock your fingers in between. And where you've got the bottom half of the sternum, that's the part you're going to put down, the heel. So the bottom half of your hand, the heel of your hand. So if you're not sure, it's like the front part of the wrist, right? Interlocked. Okay. You're going to put it over on top of the sternum. And then what did you say about where the shoulders need to be and the elbows?
So your position is quite important. We want you to be able to use your body weight. So you want your shoulders right over your arms, over your hands. So your arms are at 90 degrees to the chest. So you're leaning right over the patient in order to be in the right position to get a good depth of compression.
Okay, then once you have found the position that you are confident is the one, what do we do next?
We want to push down hard. We want to go down about 5 centimeters on this adult chest. And that's a long way down. And it takes quite a lot of energy on your behalf to push someone's chest that far down. But we want to do 30 compressions. We want to push down, come all the way up. Don't lose contact with the chest, but let the chest return to normal and push down again. And we want to do it at a rate of about 100 to 120 beats or compressions per minute, which is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6.
I know the song
you can always
is
sing along with
staying alive,
there you go.
Staying alive,
That's the right rate.
That's the rate you're gonna do. So there's one thing I want to ask you about, but we do need to take a break. So when we come back, because we're gonna all do a bit of a recap together, and yes, I know this is the medium of radio, but I hope it inspires you to make sure that you watch a demo for yourself. This can definitely save some person's life. We're going to take a break. When we come back, I've got a question.
Take a ride back to the greatest decades in music.
Because Saturdays on 702
are all about timeless tunes.
At 10 a.m.
Kenny Maestri sets the stage with the greatest hits of the 80s
and 90s. At 2 p.m. Pushaza Sibia keeps the nostalgia flowing
with more classics you can't help but sing along to.
Then at 5 p.m. Richard Mwamba
celebrates the sounds of the continent
with This Is Africa.
It's more than just music.
It's your Saturday wrapped in the sounds you love.
Only on 702.
702.
Let's walk the talk.
The Maibuye Africa concert, the rebirth of Ubuntu, returns for one unforgettable night only. Simpiwe Dana, Judith Sepuma, Malay, Langa Mavuso, Elvis Blue and Sipho Hotsticks Mabuse, backed by a 20-piece orchestra conducted by Grammy Award winner Joe Arthur, curated and produced by the visionary Billy Monama, Opera House State Theatre, Pretoria. Saturday, 6 December 2025 at 7:30 p.m. Tickets from 350 to 1,000 Rand at Web Tickets. Proudly supported by the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, Brand South Africa, Castle Milk Stout, and 702.
Enjoy the thrill of the Soccer Panthers Challenge Weekend Edition, an all-new platform from Hollywood Bets. You stand a chance to win a share of the 5 million Rand jackpot when you bet 5 Rand or more on selected EPL matches over the weekend and correctly predict 10 out of 10 winning margins. Or chase the share of the 50,000 Rand leaderboard prize. Entry is free. Let this soccer season bring sizzling success. Bet now.
T's and C's apply.
Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Okay, a bold new marketing strategy. Placing customers' details on product reviews. You're doing the scammers' job for them.
Yeah, the testimonials look great. Customers seem happy.
Sure, and scammers too. With customers' details, they can open accounts, take loans, the works.
So instead of making customers happy, I made scammers happy?
Scams can happen to anyone. Stay alert, and if you're unsure, contact ABSA on 0860 557 557. Protect your money. Protect your story. ABSA, your story matters. An authorized financial services provider.
702
Masterclass.
9 minutes to 3 o'clock. We continue with our masterclass as we talk all about resuscitology with Kathy Bodmer, BLS National Faculty Resuscitation Council of Southern Africa. And if you log on to our 702 channel on YouTube, where we are streaming live with our guests, you'll also be able to see Marlies Venter, Advanced Life Support paramedic and instructor for professional emergency care, who is doing a demo there in our Cape Town studios for us so that you're able to see. The question I wanted to ask, I know that you had said that, Kathy, for part of this conversation, we are looking at what the most recent updated information that has been shared is. In terms of the checking if a person is breathing and all of those things, do the ABCs still apply of the checking the airways and all of those things that come with the person checking?
Actually, we're not focusing on the airway like we did in the past. So in the hazards are low. When we get to a low, we're going to work out, are they unconscious and is there obvious signs of breathing? We're not even saying to you, do a head tilt, chin lift and watch for breathing. Just, are there obvious signs of breathing? And if there aren't, as a layperson, make sure you've called for help, and then we're going to start compressions. But we're going to now go HHHCAB, so compressions, and then open the airway, and then give breaths and then compressions. If you have something to ventilate with, so I mean, you and I will be very happy to put our mouth onto a loved one or a family member to ventilate them. But if you're in the public space, you'll most probably be unwilling or unable to put your mouth onto a stranger and ventilate them adequately. So you could just go and start compressions and go 30 compressions and another 30 and another 30 and keep going like that. That will still be better for the patient than no CPR.
And you can go to your Dis-Chem clicks. I've seen many places, first aid kits have them, that little thing that you sort of put your mouth around, that you put around the patient's mouth, so that you're not necessarily putting your mouth on top of a stranger's mouth. But we'll be very surprised how many people in life-threatening situations don't even think about that contact in that way. They just go ahead and do it to save a person's life. So quick recap for us about, we go and we're starting to do these 30 compressions to the tempo of staying alive. And maybe with panicking, you're going a bit fast, but you do 30. And then what do you do after the 30 that you've counted?
We want to open up the airway. We want to give the patient 2 ventilations. We want to block their nose and breathe into their mouth and breathe into them so that we can see the chest rise, just enough air to just see the chest rise and go back to the chest. And we want to do that in less than 10 seconds. So we don't want to have big gaps. If the breaths are inefficient or inadequate or you're unable to breathe, then really on an adult, the emphasis is really more on keeping the compressions at a good quality than if you're getting breaths in. Don't delay compressions if you're struggling with breaths.
Okay, and again, for to re-emphasize what you were saying, that it is an exhausting task. Giving CPR is an exhausting task, and that's why you will hear of people who will say they take turns because it can be quite tiring. And ideally, you would do it until emergency responders arrive on the scene.
In an ideal situation, we'd like you to rotate compressor, the person doing compressions every 2 minutes. So if Mara and I were there, I would do compressions for 2 minutes and she would do ventilations, and we would change roles because it is exhausting. Fortunately, when you're dealing with a real emergency, you also, create a lot of adrenaline that's going around your body, and that makes you stronger and able to go much longer than you would if you were just in the classroom. but it's very hard work.
What are some of the things that can go wrong, but you should not stop? I know some people, while being given CPR, their ribs can break.
It's very easy to break ribs, especially in an older person. Luckily, the little ones, their ribs are more flexible and forgiving. But in an adult, you may break ribs. And it's most probably because your hand has shifted slightly off the sternum. So you're no longer on the breastbone. You've moved onto the cartilage left or right of the sternum, and that breaks off quite easily. And you may hear that breaking noise. We call it crepitus. So if you hear that grating noise, it just means don't stop. Just look at your landmark. Make sure you really are on the sternum and carry on with CPR. So we're not aiming to break ribs, but yes, you may well.
What else in our remaining minute that we have left would you like to share with all of our listeners on resuscitology?
If you're going to start CPR, don't just stop. Keep on going until healthcare providers arrive and take over the responsibility of the patient. It's the patient's only chance. And if we stop and start, in the end, we're going to have a patient who's going to have too longer periods with no oxygen in their brain. And then I think from both of us, we would rather say to you, enroll in a course. You can go onto the Resus Council's website, which is resus.co.za. And on there are lists of training centers across South Africa in all provinces where you could find somebody who could run a course, ideally for you, whether you're a healthcare provider or a layperson or a mom who's having a baby. There'll be the right kind of course available for you.
We're going to quickly listen to a voice note to remind us why it is so important to do this. Take a listen.
Hi, Radio 702. Yes, I've learned CPR and it came in great use when we found my toddler floating in the pool. To God's grace, I was capable of resuscitating him and getting him to the hospital in time. And he's a strong little boy.
Very, very important. Ladies, thank you so much for your time. And I encourage you all, especially the messages that I'm seeing about people being in public transport, people needing CPR and people not knowing what to do about it. Go and get a course done. Thank you so much.
You want to build a quality home, the eye-catching jewel of the town, but your personality type is bargain hunter. It's only been 2 months and your quality home is the neighborhood nightmare. So abantu bazotini about the peeling paint that you call abstract art, the cracked walls that look like frown lines. Skip the embarrassment and the hunting. Make smarter decisions for your home. Visit Cashbuild online to order quality cement, paint and more at the lowest prices. Cashbuild.
The crazy store's got deals galore and everything you need. From tinsel presents, wrapping and a star for your Christmas tree. We've got all sorts of games and sports, many toys to buy. Stationery, arts and crafts, come on and don't be shy. No need to panic shop, we're your one-stop Christmas spot. Your table will be dressed and you will not be stressed. When Christmas Eve is here, you'll want to sing and cheer. I got everything at the crazy store and I can't wait for next year.
Hey, you never know what you might find this Christmas.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We're also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comment, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we're not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission, PO Box 412365, Craig Hall 2024. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
Thank you so much for joining us on 702 Afternoons. It's 3 o'clock.